You had 4 new guys to the roster kind of after the training camp period. What is the onboarding process, and do you think any of those guys can help you as quickly as week 1?
Well, I think it's, sometimes it's actually easier because they walk in and there's a game plan that you can look at right now and you know exactly what's in and what the responsibility is. Some of the calls, what we call things, that's the little tricky part, but sometimes it's actually easier to kind of grasp exactly what's in and not the whole playbook like training camp, or everything you have installed. So it's doable. It's, how fast can they pick it up mentally and what the game plan is, and then what do they look like physically? Just are they able to play fast because they feel comfortable in what we're doing? And that's really, that's why we practice, obviously, is to get a feel of that.
Specifically with one of those guys, Thomas Harper, that's a guy that hasn't stayed on waivers long, the 2 times that he's been waived. What do you like about what maybe he can bring to your roster?
Well, first of all, special teams looks pretty good. He's got some awareness, and he's got the ability to do a lot of different jobs on teams. And then certainly, defensively, he's got a little versatility there too. But for us, it's always going to start with special teams.
Don Muhlbach has a new game day role for you this year. Can you just explain why you picked him for that job and maybe exactly what the responsibilities are?
Well, first of all, because any task that you give Mule, whether he was a player or even behind the scenes with us, he does a ton and has done a ton since he was hired here, helping on special teams, and he does an unbelievable job, man. So he helps Fit, man. He helps Jet. He's always helped me with a few things. And he's a grinder, there's nothing, there'll be no stone that will be left unturned. And so it just felt natural, like this guy's going to eat this stuff up, and he does stuff for Brad in spring. So he kind of wears a ton of different hats, but, it just felt like, man, this is going to be the right fit. And he's got a pretty good grasp, pretty good feel of what I want. And I also know he's got conviction about him when he sees something or believes something. He's not going to, waver in what it is or isn't. So all of those traits, I think, are really good about him.
Because he's new to the job and because you were with John or had John in that role for so many years, is there a feeling out process? How does the preseason, I guess, sort of help with it?
Yeah, the preseason helps a lot, and just kind of working through the kinks of that. And for him really to know, like, what for me is willing to bring it up to me? Those are, or what do I care about? Or is it a 50-50? If it is, I don't want to hear about it, because whatever the call is will stand. And then, well, what is a 50-50 call in my eyes? So it's little things like that. Exactly what I'm looking for. What am I looking for before the game? What am I looking for during the game? And then him just getting on top of the rules a little bit. But I can help him with all that stuff. So he's doing an unbelievable job. He's going to be great.
When it comes to the chess match of calling a game, beyond the call-up periods of practice, is there anything you can do to kind of prepare your coordinators for the chess match that goes on?
Well, we still do, that's what training camp was a lot of, but we still do competitive periods in practice. We go good on good. So we still do Detroit versus Detroit. So you got your game plan in for these guys, offense, defense, special teams, and then you got to, revert back to, okay, now we're playing Detroit, and we got to be ready for these rules, and we have to have these adjustments. But you're calling the things that you're going to call against, for example, Green Bay. And so it's good because it kind of, in a sense, it gives you unscouted looks going into the game potentially, right? You have to adjust, you got to adapt, and just play football. And so we try to do those every day. You don't do a ton, but certainly third down, red zone, we get a ton of that work, good on good. So those always help because that's in the moment. I mean, we'll finish a period and I'll just call it out and put the ball down. So those guys got to have a call ready to go. So that's good. Those always help.
Sorry. Dorsey and Wingo were 2 guys that were activated pretty late in the offseason process. Where are they at physically in terms of being ready to, contribute to the roster?
Yeah, both of those guys are physically, I feel like they're ready. Dorsey has been going a little bit longer than Wingo, just out on the grass, moving around. But where Wingo has come, call it a week and a half, has been pretty impressive. I was like, okay, this guy's he's further along than I thought he would be coming back. So both of those guys are they look pretty good right now.
Yesterday, Shep said that Zach Cunningham is a starter level caliber linebacker in this league. Just in the time that he's been here, what have you seen him add to that unit?
Well, he adds a ton of experience, depth, athleticism, explosiveness, versatility. He can play all the different positions. And then, and there's some stuff on special teams he can really help us with. So, and he's been great, man. He fits right in. He's a smart guy, pretty crafty. And so he adds somebody that, man, we can use. And at the very lowest level, he adds depth right now, quality depth. I mean, this guy's he's been good. That was a good pickup, man. I'm glad we got him. He's done a great job.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught the game yesterday, but they were calling taunting a little bit tighter. Does that force you to potentially have another talk with the players about not taking unnecessary penalties and being disciplined?
Well, that's a point of emphasis. They said that, we've known that in the spring. We know that in training camp. So we know that's coming. I mean, we talked about that. I mean, that's been talked about. I mean, so those guys know, they get it, and they are going to call it tighter. So.
Dan, it seemed like last year there was a lot of sting from the loss to Washington, and a lot of guys talked about continuing to replay it and such. Do you feel like Sunday's a little bit of an opportunity just to kind of expunge and kind of put that to bed finally? How much are they champing at the bit to really get back out there and playing a game since it's been so long?
Well, I don't know how much it's really like, okay, that was the last thing, and I think really I know for me, and I kind of get the sense it's about, man, here we go. It's the next season. It's 2025. It's the first game of the year out on the road, division opponent. Most of our guys did not play in the preseason, so like this is awesome. You're ready to go. I mean, you're ready to compete and cut it loose. Games that count, real football. The whole thing, and I think that's really more of the excitement as opposed to what had happened previously.
Against like anybody that, for a lot of people out here, at least they say Super Bowl or bust, right? You won 15, you went to the NFC Championship, like that's kind of the only thing that matters. But how do you guard against that with players like looking too far ahead just to make sure that you take care of business?
I think it's as simple as, man, just worry about what's right in front of you, and I think you do have to just focus on that. We all know where we want to go. Everybody's got their goals, man, and we certainly know where we want to go. But to do that, man, you got to handle what's right in front of you, man, one step at a time, and not worry about the ebbs and flows of a season or even a game for that matter. Things could not go well early in this game, but that doesn't mean you're not going to win it. Just settle in. Same thing in a season. So. Don't worry about that. All we got to worry about is taking care of business week one. And I mention it again, man. We just got to get better every week. We got to eradicate any of the mistakes that we make. We got to clean up our fundamentals and just get better and better and better and be playing our best football by the end of the year. This is just step one. This is step one in a 17-step process before you even get to the tournament.
Yeah, Tim. Thanks, Dan.
Y'all doing?